Out of the ground the Lord God made to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Welcome to this morning's service, and you're welcome, those of you here in person. Special welcome to those of you here for the first time, and also those of you online. Whether you're a member of the congregation or you're a visitor or a friend, whoever you are and however you're feeling today, you're very welcome here. This week, I discovered, has been National Tree Week. And this weekend is National Tree Dressing Day, both of which, of course, are designed to celebrate trees. We know that trees are vital for life on Earth, and that forests perform hugely important functions that make our planet habitable, including the miraculous feat of converting sunlight into food. They are the biggest and longest living creatures on Earth, and their grace and beauty are a source of inspiration for many. Once upon a time, they dominated the Earth, but that's going back away approximately 350 million years or so. And it's worth remembering that we've only been here for about 2 million years, so that's a long time ago. So perhaps it isn't surprising that trees have become sacred in many cultures and religions. Hence the theme of our service. Also, today is the second Sunday in Advent, and thank you to Crystal for bringing health and safety conscious Advent candles today, which are lit by battery, so we don't have to worry about setting fire to ourselves this morning. Thank you, Crystal. However, we will be lighting our chalice candle, and those of you at home may like to light a chalice of your own. This is a Unitarian custom to start each worship gathering by lighting the chalice flame. It's a symbol of our free religious faith. May our flame be a symbol of the meeting of the earth and fire, the material and the ephemeral, the body and the spirit. May it remind us, too, of our own human condition, of that divine spark within each one of us, a symbol of hope and love and light. Our first song this morning is in the Purple Hymn Books. It's number 147, and it is Spirit of Earth, Root, Stone and Tree. So please join in singing number 147, Spirit of Earth, Root, Stone and Tree.
Nourishing me, oh, fill me with living
Welcome. Edgar, I'm just going to ask, because it's quite a cold day, I think maybe we could close the outside door now. Thank you. And let us just join now in a time of prayer. God of all life, we give thanks for the splendor and the mystery of creation. May we remember that we are part of all that is, connected to the stars and the oceans, to the plants and the planets, to each other and to you. Be with us always, now and evermore. May it be so. And I'd like to share with you something called the Prayer of the Woods, which apparently is found in forests and parks in North America. I hadn't come across it myself before, but those of you who have walked in North America may have found this. It's quite often, I believe, inscribed onto boards, and it's a prayer from the woods. I am the heat of your hearth on the cold winter nights, the friendly shade screening you from the summer sun, and my fruits are refreshing draughts, quenching your thirst as you journey on. I am the beam that holds your house, the board of your table, the bed on which you lie, the timber that builds your boat. I am the handle of your hoe, the door of your homestead, the wood of your cradle, and the shell of your coffin. I am the bread of kindness and the flower of beauty. Ye who pass by, listen to my prayer. Harm me not. And our first reading is called Pine Forest Fugue, and it's from a book called Evening Tide, which are meditations by the Unitarian Elizabeth Tarbox. The wind sings four-part harmony: aspen, pinyon, ponderosa, and spruce. What a language this is, beyond the reach of words. Whispered secrets, understood only at the place where the lover sighs and cries, and brings a truer life to life. I listened at midday to the song humming over these tall green organ pipes, and I listened at dusk when the hills were rust and the sky pink with sunset, and I heard it again, the theme of 1,000 pines. But I did not understand, and the chill I felt was of one who waits outside. The raven understood with outstretched fingers and the air between its toes, but I only closed my eyes and tried too hard to hear. I woke next morning from my bed on the forest floor, as if the hum had stroked my bones and calmed the fractious poet. and I learned to trust that my soul knows things I'll never find the words to tell, and my heart will sing to meet the forest's call. Words by Elizabeth Tarbox. Our second hymn is Spirit of Life, and this is a favourite of some of you. I know it's number 148, so just the next one on from the one we've just sung, in fact. And it's a very short song, and so we sing it twice. Spirit of Life, come unto me. Let's sing. Our second reading is a poem. It's a poem by Wendell Berry, American poet, some of you may be familiar with, and Kathy will read it for us.
Slowly, slowly they returned to the small woodland, let alone, great trees, outspreading and upright, apostles of the living light. Patient as stars they build and air tier after tier, a timbered choir, stout beams upholding weightless grace of song, a blessing on this place. They stand in waiting all around, uprisings of their native ground, downcomings of the distant light. They are the advent they await. Receiving sun and giving shade, their lives a benefaction made, and a benediction said o'er the living and the dead. In fall their brightened leaves released, fly down the wind, and we are pleased to walk on radiance amazed of light, come down to earth, be praised.
Thank you, Kathy. We come now to a time of reflection, and so I invite you to join actually in a simple guided meditation, which I will lead you through. So if you just want to make yourselves comfortable, and you might like to just have your feet on the ground, both of them, if that feels okay for you. And your hands, you may like to just rest them on your lap or on your knees, or again, wherever feels right for you. And just begin by taking a few slow, deep breaths. See if you can breathe into your diaphragm. And then let it go. And then allow your breathing just to settle into its own natural rhythm. There's no need to alter it, just sit with it, and you might like to just observe it. You may notice the path of your breath as it rushes into your nose and flows down the back of your throat, down into your lungs. And then you may notice, as you breathe out, the air escaping back into the atmosphere. And now imagine, if you will, that you have roots like a tree growing downwards from the soles of your feet, through the floor and into the rich, fertile ground of Mother Earth. Allow yourself to feel truly grounded in the earth. And now, if you would like to, visualize that there is light extending upwards out of the top of your head, upwards and upwards, connecting you with the bright spiritual space of the cosmos above. Imagine that light reaching up like a tree reaches up. And feel yourself connected to the air above you, to the skies, to the heavens beyond. And holding on to that connection, both to the ground and to the skies. Imagine that as you are breathing in and out, you are pulling energy up from the ground and down from the skies, and then releasing it. So that your body is becoming a conduit between heaven and earth. Energy and spirit flowing freely from ground to sky and sky to ground through you. and know yourself to be one with it all. We'll just take a little time in silence and then hear some music. At a congregational service on Zoom quite some months ago, maybe even a year ago now, I invited people to bring with them contributions, their thoughts or a reading or an image on the theme of holy places and sacred spaces. Some of you may remember that. And I don't know quite what I expected people to share. I think I had in mind they might speak of a cathedral they had sat in, or a temple they'd visited, maybe a mountain they climbed, or a graveside perhaps. And I think what surprised me was how many of the people attending that gathering spoke of trees. Trees in general, but specific trees as well. I was surprised, although I think I probably shouldn't have been, because of course I have also experienced the sacred nature of trees myself. One that comes to mind is I remember I attended the Fez Festival of World Sacred Music in Morocco. I think it was in 2008 or somewhere around there. It's a festival that started back in 1994 after the first war in Iraq, actually, to bring people together through music. And it's still going. I looked it up and it happened this year. And it's a huge thing, and it certainly used to attract audiences of around 25,000 in this 14th century palace called the Bab Makina, which was very elaborate and lots of wonderful lighting and screens and so on. And I remember seeing the sitar players, Ravi Shankar and his daughter Anushka, perform there, which was amazing. But the Bab Makina actually was not the spiritual heart of that festival. That was somewhere else. And at 4 o'clock each afternoon, a much smaller acoustic concert would be held in the courtyard of the Batha Museum, which has beautiful gardens and mosaics. And audiences of many faiths and cultures would gather there, and they'd sit on scattered chairs or just on the ground. And the atmosphere was intimate and the music more gentle, more immediate. But what made it so special was that the musicians performed under the shady umbrella of a 400-year-old Barbary oak. And this magnificent tree seemed to just draw us and gather us and hold us. So whatever their religion, and I remember seeing Jewish singers, Gregorian chanters, a folk band from Uzbekistan, and all sorts of people from all sorts of different traditions, everyone there seemed to intuitively, implicitly understand and respond to the sacred nature of this huge and ancient tree. And then this week, very much closer to home and on a much smaller scale, I have found myself really quite astonished and uplifted by the trees in our own Plymouth Zone Central Park. There's something really quite breathtaking about the trees at this time of year, many of them still dressed in their autumn colours. And they seem to turn a walk into a pilgrimage for me. And I wonder what it is about them that has this profound effect. Is it their stature? Is it their strength? Is it their resilience? Their beauty? Is it the way they are quite literally grounded, as we yearn to be, while at the same time forever reaching up, as I think we also yearn to do? Is it that they stabilize the earth for us? Is it that they manage to take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere? That they provide homes for so many other animals? That they offer shelter and shade? Is it because they live so long? The oldest tree in the UK, by the way, is thought to be the Fortingall Yew in Perthshire. And it's believed to be between 2,000 and 3,000 years old. Is it because they provide us with wood for our homes and paper for us to write on? As well as rubber and fruit and oil and countless other things too. Is it because of their shape, which in some ways seems to be a metaphor for life itself? They're mostly upright, as we are. They grow from, say, a tiny acorn into a sapling, and then a mature tree, which sounds familiar. They even get wider as they get older. Is it the way that the leaves fall in the autumn, reminding us of our own fragility and mortality? Or the way the branches branch and branch and branch again, reflecting the whole process of evolution? Or the way they can spread out like a cathedral, a bit like that oak tree in Fez that enfolds and holds us? And even because perhaps they have a dark side too. Haven't we all been frightened by the woods? They can also represent the shadow, the hidden, the danger and the unknown in folklore and fairy tales. Maybe it's all of this and more. Some of you know that recently our city council took it upon themselves to cut some trees down in our city in a milder way. There was quite a lot of resistance to it, but they did it anyway. And I think we felt quite shocked by that. I mean, not just because of the obvious loss to the city and the ecosystems, but to the trees themselves. It seemed to show a kind of lack of respect, a lack of regard, a lack of honouring them. So it's not surprising, I think, that trees are prominent in so many faiths. I mentioned the tree of life and the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden right at the beginning of this service in the Judeo-Christian tradition. But think of the banyan tree, the Bodhi tree, the yew tree. There are so many that have significance in different faiths. And I noticed that even in this church, now Unitarianism does not have much symbolism. However, we have a green man over there on the wall. We have a Christmas tree because it's Christmas. We have this rather remarkable specimen that Marion has brought in for us, which I think is sycamore. I believe it was going to be thrown out and it has been rescued, and we're going to hang our Christmas cards on it. Oh, that's the idea. So there's something about tree. Oh, and of course, we have the Tree of Life, which was a painting commissioned by Erna, one of our longer term, but you know what I mean. She's been a member for a long time. Had that commissioned specially for us. So there is something, and that we have a garden and we have trees around us. I think there is something that resonates for us. You probably know that more recently biologists have discovered that trees can communicate with each other, that they do this by their roots and also through the dense network of fungal threads, the mycelium that spreads through the earth, rather like the neurons of a brain, carrying information backwards and forwards through chemicals, exchanging them. And I think this adds yet another level of wonder and insight. The idea that these trees are not just standing there, they're actually communicating, that they share their own form of rich intelligence via a language that we can't hear. So above all, I would say that trees, like all living things, are spiritual beings. They share the same divine spirit, the same energy source, the same life force as we do. Our own spiritual growth feels to me like it depends on us recognizing that and remembering it. Remembering that we are not here as masters or lords of an unconscious or an inanimate planet. Rather, we are coexisters, collaborators, codependents, continuous with, and ultimately inseparable from all life. Our growth, our maturity, and increasingly our survival depends on us appreciating this. The wonder, the mystery, the beauty, and the spirit of trees, but not just trees, of the whole of creation. Blessed be. Our third hymn is number 66, again in the purple hymn books. And it's called How Wonderful This World of Thine. A fragment of a fiery sun, how lovely and how small. Hymn number 66. We always finish with some closing words, but also some closing music, and you'll see that on the video. And the song is called Tree Song. It's by Evie Carlson, and it so happens that that Suzanne, who's sitting here today, sent me this song, and okay, that's it's one of those coincidences. So we will have that. I wasn't familiar with it. I think it may be a children's song, but it's definitely also a lovely song for adults too.
Children's time.
Children's time. And after that, we will have notices and tea and coffee as well. So may we leave this place today knowing we are earth and spirit, body, mind and soul. May we enter fully into each moment, grounded in what is real and reaching for what is possible. Above all, may we go in peace and in joy until we meet again. Amen.